Hey everybody! So anyways, I just wanted to tell you my name is Marissa Leblanc. I live in Ganawage. So what I currently do for work right now is that I'm an executive assistant for the economic development of Ganawage. Awesome job. I only like it because it's a pretty cool title. Well, I kind of like doing office work as well too. I'm lying. But anyways, what I did in the past is the first job that I ever had was that I joined the Marine Corps at the United States Marine Corps. That's American. And I joined the Marine Corps when I was 17 years old. I was going to John Abbott at the time, and I was in the social sciences program, which I felt at the time wasn't leading anywhere. So I was going to John Abbott, and I just didn't feel like I was getting anywhere with that program. So what I did is one weekend I decided to go for a road trip in my car that I had at the time, and I decided to go over the border to Maine to visit my cousin, Olaf Jono. Don't tell him I told you. And so when I got there to Maine, well, on my way there I called him and I said, dude, this is seriously how I started the conversation. Dude, I'm so bored with college right now and I don't know if it's going to lead anywhere. So I'm coming to visit you for the weekend. I hope you guys aren't doing anything. I just want to get away. So I get there, right? And he has a Marine Corps recruiter there waiting for me outside of his house. Didn't really have any intentions on joining the military or even had any thoughts about it beforehand. But seeing him standing there in his dress blues, all muscular and stuff, looked fantastic in his dress blues. I got out of my car, and of course I went to talk to him, and he had nothing but great things to say about the Marine Corps and how I'd have a fantastic career with them and that I'd be able to continue going to school while I was in the Marine Corps as well. So I never left Maine. After that, I stayed there for 2 weeks, and 2 weeks later I was in boot camp. I decided to sign on, and I had to call my parents to come and meet me there because I was 17 and I needed my parents to sign. So that's how I joined the Marine Corps, and that's why I chose to go in. I never participated in a war while I was in because there were no wars at the time between 97 and 2001. I got out maybe about 2 months. That was my end of my contract, and I got out maybe 2 months before Iraq started. The last 2.5 years that I was in, I was doing close combat training. So I was training all the people that ended up going to Iraq. So after I left the Marine Corps, and the reason why I left the Marine Corps, I don't know if I should tell you the boring story or the real reason. I'm going to go with the real reason. So I met someone, and he was higher ranking and closer to his retirement than I was, obviously, having only been in for 4 years. So listen to my heart. Don't do that, people. So I got out of the Marine Corps and bought a house in Jacksonville, North Carolina, and decided to become a police officer there, which was probably the funnest 2 years of my life as a police officer. It was just entirely too much action going on there, and the craziest things happened. You really get to know people at their worst, and if you have a sense of humor, and I don't by any means at all, then you'd find it amazing too. So anyways, on to the next thing. While I was in the police department, on one of the weekends that I was off duty, I used to ride motorcycles too. I know, I'm awesome. So I used to ride motorcycles, and I was out with, the guy that I, fell in love with. So we were riding, and then he took off. He was like super far ahead of me, and I was just riding, taking my time. And there was this red Cavalier convertible car with 2 young Marines in it, and they had a bullhorn, right? And this part of the story gets really interesting, so pay attention. You in the back, if you're sleeping. Here we go. What? Excuse me. That's better. So the Cavalier pulled up next to me, and they had a bullhorn, right? They were obviously drunk driving, and they were saying stuff like, "Ooh, a chick on a bike, why don't you come over here and ride me?" That's what they said. So I just didn't pay attention to them, right? So I sped up to try to get away from them, and they kept cutting me off, and cutting me off, and cutting me off, and they were getting dangerous at this point. So now we're on a bridge, so I can't turn. I knew you guys were thinking that, why don't you just take a side street and get the heck out of their way, right? But we were on a bridge, so I couldn't, and I didn't really feel like going for a swim. So I start pulling away from them with my motorcycle, and last minute they cut me off right in front of my front tire and slammed on their brakes right in front of me. So I went sliding on the asphalt for about 100 feet with my sleeveless shirt on. Pretty much lost all my skin, my left arm, and other things. So, yeah, I ended up in the hospital for 2 weeks after that. So, after the whole heart thing earlier faded, yeah, then I ended up coming back to Montreal area, Ganawage more specifically, and I started working first at the American consulate in Montreal. I was in charge of security there, and then ended up coming back to Ganawage to work, and that's where I met the father of my daughter. Anyways, so I'm now a single mom, and I don't know, it has its ups and downs, you know. If you have plenty of energy, like energy enough for two people, then, and you're smart and you have your education and you work, you know, and your work hours match your kids' school hours, and you could really manage to do it on your own, then I don't know, it works for some, it doesn't work for others. It's definitely probably the most difficult thing that I did in my life, even with the whole Marine Corps thing and police officer thing, and that pretty much concludes my presentation. I really appreciate your time, and I hope that I didn't make it too boring for all of you. Thank you.